I wish that there was some way that I can teach that kindness and sort of the virtues of this world actually do matter. And, things like generosity and all of those things are really, really important in this world. And it's, strategically important because that gives you opportunities. You're going to bump into people eventually that will recognize what you're doing and sort of see what you're doing, and sort of know that, hey, this person was actually a pretty amazing person. But as well, it kind of helps you sometimes to get through moments of, hey, this was not cool, and I need to try to focus on how do I become a kind person. And I don't know how to teach that. Honestly, I think it's really, I think you could teach it early on, and sort of have it part of your upbringing, right? But I also think that personality traits are so it matters so much more. I was always kind of like a nurture kind of person, to realize that, hey, nurture sort of is the sort of end predictor on a lot of things. It's like what you were socialized to. But I do really think that there is a lot to be said about like actual personality traits and how you deal with stress and anxiety. How do those personality traits happen? Is it DNA? Is it early childhood experiences? I don't know. But I think all of that stuff is really important, right? And that kind of gives you sort of the back end of things. It's like how you actually deal, going back to kindergarten and remembering all of those basic things that you learned in kindergarten, how you deal with things. If you never quite learn how to deal with those sort of stressors in your environment, man, you just come across like so not cool. And people remember that stuff. It sticks with you a long time, and why would you ever want to be that kind of person? I think like everybody has either, I'm talking to you personally, or there's people in your life that are, deal with this kind of stuff. I just want everybody to sort of remember that, kindness does matter. But on the other side is you don't have to be a doormat with anything. You really cannot be that person that sort of takes all of the blame and absorbs all of the everything. You need to remember that some people are just the way that they are. And ultimately they are not going to sort of change, and you sort of have to recognize that. But I want everybody, if I can sort of teach everybody that kindness does matter, that, being a decent person, remembering to be, conscientious and nice and think about other people's feelings, that empathy of thinking about other people's feelings is a lot. And a lot of people lack empathy, but I think like that's actually the sort of secret to a lot of stuff, right? How do you get to know who people are, what they're about, and just know that putting your feet, or putting your feelings and who you are in the other person's shoes and what they're dealing with will get you a long ways. Remember that nothing is perfect, in that you will not have a perfect world, whatever that is. And so if something happens where it's not quite working out, just roll with the punches and be like, whatever. It's really not worth going through all of the the stress and anxiety that you're going to experience by being angry at the world, and then you're not being a very good role model to other people. So what I want to stress is that kindness does matter. How you handle yourself really does matter. I think that that is very important in how you deal with things, is that you need to realize that there's other people beyond yourself. So this is why I think that personality traits are really an important thing, right? That sort of narcissism personality trait, you'll never realize that kindness does matter. It's not sort of part of who you are. And so that's where you need to be. You need to recognize as a good person, you need to recognize that everybody else around the world is not like you. And you need to realize that, you know what, you can be a good person and not be walked over. You put up those boundaries and you say, hey, that's not cool. And, you know, if they sort of continue to do that kind of stuff, well, that's their problem. They have to process that and deal with it. You don't have to absorb all of that kind of stuff. So I want you to remember that. How you be a nice person all the time, just be a nice person all the time. And then, you know, stand up and say, hey, that's not cool. But just remember that. It does matter. It does stick with other people. And it does give you opportunities in the long run. And then as well, man, what a life you live in if you're always angry at the world. I just think it's just a much nicer life. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.